Hi, everyone. I always have to sit and be really quiet for like 30 or 40 whole seconds so that we can go live on all the platforms. And it definitely feels awkward. But we are here, and I am back with another wonderful guest to do a live hot seat coaching. Super excited to share this particular story with you because I think this is something we're going to all be able to resonate with. And just to remind you that we're doing these live hot seat coaching sessions just to give you a tiny sample of the kinds of things that you can work on inside the accelerator, which kicks off this week. So make sure that you are clicking that button, headed over to the accelerator, saying yes to yourself, building a healthier relationship with yourself, with others, and recognizing your own superpowers so that and how to utilize them out in the world. A lot of that is coming from our human design work, and we're also combining the Brave method, which is the method that I created for strategically problem solving, dreaming, designing, building, and actually having a life that you love, as well as some subconscious reprogramming in whatever ways you need. This is a customized experience for you, 5 weeks. It's going to be amazing. So, let me introduce you to my friend, Rianne. Hi.
Hello.
I'm so glad to have you here with us today.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited.
So, can you just tell folks who are tuning in, who a little bit about who you are, and we'll just get going from there?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Brienne. I live in Canton, Massachusetts, and I am a holistic health coach, a 500-hour yoga teacher, a mom, a student in the anchored NLP subconscious reprogramming certification with Heather, and excited to dive more into what you know, Heather, because I feel
Oh,
like I know a lot about who I am in like so many different buckets other than human design. So I'm like
all
so
right.
pumped to
I
dive
love
deeper
that.
and learn more. Yeah.
I love that you are kind of a newbie to human design because I get folks coming from all over that they've done a lot, and yet I feel like there's always something more to uncover, but it's always really
Mhm.
special to introduce it on a whole new level to folks because I don't know, I find so much freedom in it. So I'll be curious to hear how you feel about it. Can
Yeah.
you tell folks what specifically you'd like to work on in this space today?
Yeah. So I'm kind of meeting myself in real time today.
Yeah.
Last week I had hip bursitis show up, which felt like out of nowhere because I didn't do anything like funky in terms of like exercise or overdoing, at least to my knowledge. And I was in so much pain in my left outer hip that I felt like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't stand, couldn't sit, I couldn't lay down. Like it was just
That's
constant pain
awful.
and like got
So
worse
sorry.
as the day went on. So I was doing what I could to like take care of that. And now that the pain is gone, it's still there. So I'm struggling with like how to support my mental well-being because movement is kind of like my mental health, like that. I mean, amongst other things, but a major part of helping me feel grounded in my body and therefore in my day. As a yoga teacher and just a movement lover, like I am always doing something every day. It's a non-negotiable, whether that's running or strength training or yoga or walking. Um, so I'm trying to meet my body where it's at, focus on rest and healing, but I can
Yeah.
move right now, right? So it's like, okay, I'm just not sure, like, what can I do? What can I do? What should I do? What shouldn't I do? Right? And I try not to shit on myself, but like, I want to be able to move,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
also want to be able to heal, and I also need to be able to support my mental health,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
our conversation got me thinking, okay, like what are some other ways I can do that? And I know there are other ways, but I'd love to know like what ways really support my energy because I'm feeling kind of low vibe. So like
Yeah.
sitting in meditation is helpful, but it's not giving me the energy that
Yep.
movement has in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that. I'm sorry for your pain.
Oh, thank you.
I can feel my arm and shoulder freezing. So I'm trying to prevent that. I had about 5 years ago, the other side did it. I was like, oh no, no, we don't want to do that. We're not, we're not trying to do that. So I can empathize with you a little
Yes.
bit there.
I feel like so
Um,
many people can, right? The body
so
just
I know.
sometimes likes to talk to us.
It does. And I find often there's some sort like we are missing a sign somewhere that our the universe or our body is like, you're not listening, so I'm going to be louder.
I know.
um, let's see what shows up for you. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious before we pull up your human design chart, and I have some notes and there's some specific areas I wanted to focus on. Um, with your lack of being able to do the physical activity that you're used to that keeps your vibe high and keeps you feeling, centered and aligned, what do you think that this says about you? The fact that you can't do this now, or how is it making you feel about yourself?
Yeah. So how's it making me feel about myself? I shared this with you earlier. It's making me feel like, oh my gosh, am I old? Is the body starting to break down? Like that's where I first went, right? But I know that
Yeah.
like you can get precise at any time, and I take care of myself. So it did make me second guess, like, am I not taking care of myself enough?
Mm,
Um, but I will say, after I went through that, like, I gave myself like a day to be like sad about it and
yeah.
think that it was like, okay, well, if I'm not making time for daily movement, this could give me time for other things, like
Yeah.
trying, like, um, just other things, like, that require a little bit of a drive. Like, obviously, I want to do more walking, so I'm excited about that. But like red light therapy and like,
Mm,
like salt rooms and all these like fun things I've been wanting to try. So that's where I went. But I do know my energy needs it, and I'm a little like conflicted between
yeah.
like I should rest and I gotta find something to do. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
It does. It
Yeah.
does. Well, so let's pull up. Try there we go. This is your human design chart. Have you ever seen your chart or any chart before?
No, no.
Okay. Well, because in the interest of your time and everybody else's time, I'm not going to get too far into it. But y'all, if you want your own reading and a detailed description of what this is, you can find all that access to all that information on my website. What you're looking at is the body graph, and we're going to focus on just a couple of specific areas. And I know I'm like teasing you. There's so much. There's so much to learn. But you're what we call a pure generator. So there are 5 types in human design: a manifester, a generator, manifesting generator, projector, and reflector. And as a generator, you are here to respond to what you see happening, and you build things, you fix things, you start things, you do things because you're like, oh, the world needs that, or this person needs that, or I need that. And I can do something with that, right? So generators are really alchemists. I think that they're fabulous. There are more generators and manifesting generators than any other type. So sometimes people will say, "Oh, well, that doesn't make me special," which is totally not true because everybody's chart is incredibly unique. Nobody else's chart is exactly like yours. I've even had identical twins who have different charts because they're born a few minutes apart. So um, it does not mean that, but you are, I can tell. I mean, I already knew this about you, absolutely designed to be going. That generator goes in you. That's the sacral. It's that red square you're seeing at the bottom. And it goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And I'm curious, since you had your injury, how has sleep been for you?
Ooh, that's kind of tough because I was in pain, so I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I feel like there's been so many outside factors. I guess sleep has been good, not better or worse.
Okay. So what we
Like
often see
now
with
that I'm
generators,
past the pain. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
no, I didn't mean to. We must have a tiny lag. So I apologize.
Yeah. And maybe let me add this one thing, Heather. Maybe more dreams.
Oh, interesting. That tracks. The reason I ask that question is in order for generators to sleep well and rest well, their body needs to be physically exhausted. Because if you can't shut your motor down, you can't shut your mind down.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's tricky then when you're physically unable to do that. What are some other ways that you can feel wonderfully exhausted, not burnt
Right.
out exhausted, but I've done. I have depleted this motor for the day. We need to sleep and regenerate. So when I look at your chart, first things that I notice are because you are a generator and a pure generator at that, you are your decision making is it's a hell yes or it's a fuck no.
Mhm.
There's no maybe for you. Uh,
Mhm.
if you play in the space of maybe, it is because you're either trying to people please or you would really like it to be a yes, but it's not. So something has to shift. Is that resonating?
Yeah, totally.
Hmm. Yeah. So asking yourself, especially as you're trying new things and you're looking at other opportunities, asking yourself yes or no questions because your body will respond. And so I'm wondering, can you think of a time recently where something was like an overwhelming yes for you? Can you recall?
Definitely signing up for Anchored. Is
Yeah.
that recent enough, or are you talking about like?
I'm not sure. You'll have to tell me. Do you remember by chance where in your body you felt that yes, like physically what it felt like?
I feel like in my gut.
Okay.
I felt it in my gut. And I didn't even really know a lot about it, Heather. Like I didn't even really like I'm pretty sure I signed up before I even like did a deep dive of research or talked to anybody who did it. Like it was
I
like
love that.
I don't even think the funniest thing I was thinking the other day, I don't even think I looked at like when the calls are and if it aligned. And it magically did because I teach
Wow.
on
I
Tuesday
love
night, I
that.
teach on Thursday night, and our calls have to be on Wednesday night. I was like thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I'm sure I looked. I really did.
I love that. I love that's a great example of like it was a hell
Oh,
yes and you just
I was
knew it
gonna
was a
make it
hell
happen.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about a no? Something that you were like, no, nope, I don't want that.
Okay. Yeah, so that's even more recent. This weekend, we have a house in Dennisport, and we tend to have people coming, staying with us a lot. This weekend, Memorial Day, we usually have like a cookout, and we usually have people staying with us. And this weekend, I was like, it's an absolute no. Like, I just want it to be us. I don't want to host. I just want to go with the flow.
Yeah.
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 And like,
And
I
so
felt so affirmed in that decision as we were driving home. I was like, that was the best weekend. And
I love that.
I'm so glad I wasn't like, "Ooh, do you want to come?" You know, because somebody had nothing to do that weekend or whatever, which is
Yeah.
what I might do.
Always.
Yeah.
Somebody could that can always happen. I love that. Do you know physically where in your body you were like hard no? Can you by chance attach to
Mm.
that?
I feel like that was more my upper chest.
Okay. Okay.
So like heart, throat, in between heart and throat, maybe both.
Yeah. Excellent. So it's different for everybody. It's really important to discover your yes or no, or if you have a different authority, we do different tests to discover it so that your body can tell you what you need to know before you have time to overthink it in your mind. And
Yeah.
it sounds like you're pretty in touch with that. But as things are shifting and you're trying to find other ways to keep your vibe high and to feel good, since you can't do that harder physical stuff, be sure to check in with yourself on a yes no and just feel it. So you've got that yes kind of in your gut solar plexus ish area, which is really your sacral. That's what that is. And you're saying your no, and you can test it on regular yes or no questions throughout your day. But asking yourself yes or no questions, teaching the people that you work with, that you love, your family members to ask you yes or no questions versus open ended questions. Um, my guess is, tell me if I'm on point or not. The open ended, we can do anything you want, Rianne, does not helpful to you.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
like, I don't care, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I don't know, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But if
Yes.
somebody gave you a very specific thing to respond to,
Advice.
you would
Yeah.
be able to answer that. So as you're looking at all of these options, I would say that's the first really juicy gift is asking your body and don't get into your mind about it. And then I can see by so you see the four arrows at the top over by the head. Those are what we call variables. And
Okay.
your top left arrow tells me that you thrive on structure and routine, which doesn't surprise me because I do know you a little bit, but I would say your vibe will stay higher the more you can add that in. So, same getting up at the same basic time. If your morning routine is shifting because of your physical health, then implementing something else and being super repetitive with it,
Yeah.
eating the same types of things in the same places, learning at the same time of day, in the same general location, in the same format, your body will really react well to that. Yeah, is that feeling good?
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, that's definitely true. And I do think that like my personality sometimes fights that because I like to be flowy. But I know
Mm,
that with structure, that's what leaves me room
yeah,
to be flowy in other aspects. But I need that structure to like ground first.
exactly. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't that's your mind. That's because
Okay.
so
Yeah.
often, and I am the opposite. I don't do well with structure, but I feel like in the worlds that you and I work in, we're often told, be more flexible, be more flowy. And so what I'm hearing maybe is your mind and society are saying you're supposed to be doing it this way and you feel bad that you can't. You're right when you say the more structured I am, the more freedom I have. That's exactly
Yeah.
what that does for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And allowing that and creating that structure. And then you can even structure freedom. I have another client, like it's okay to structure, and this is going to be open time where I don't know, I'm going to feel into it, but you've created container around it that comforts you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I think too, it's like the structure can be there and the freedom can be there at the same time. Like,
absolutely.
yeah, like waking up, like if, it's, movement. Like I often like to ask my body, like, what do you need? Depending on how I
Yes.
slept or what I did yesterday. So like the structure is there. That's my time to move, to exercise, but the freedom and the flow is there to choose what that looks like.
Yeah, I love that. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. A couple of other things that pop up. You have so all of the white shapes that you're seeing, those are, well, all of the shapes in general are centers. If they're white, it means they're open or undefined. And if they're colored in, it means they're defined. One
Hmm.
is not good or bad. The difference is an open, undefined area is where you will absorb and amplify the energies from the people around you, and a defined center is where um, you have very consistent patterns and behavior, and it's kind of, so think of one as what comes in and one as what goes out.
Hmm.
um, the trick with all of these open centers, and it's a little bit rare in my experience, this may not be the case for all human design readers, for a pure generator to be this open. Usually I have seen more structure or more definition.
Hmm.
You want to, there's really easy to get into your not self and to make choices that aren't yours or for you when you have so many open, undefined centers. You will take in and amplify the thoughts that people have, the actions that they're suggesting, the words that they're saying,
Yeah.
what the focus of the purpose for the moment is, as well as specifically emotions. I imagine with family, with kids, with clients, if they're having big feelings, you're going to absorb at there. Maybe they're at a 5, you're going to absorb and amplify to a 15. And they're like, whoa, mom, why are you so much more upset about this than I am? Right.
Hmm. Hmm.
So again, keeping your vibe high is knowing what's yours and what's not yours. You can hear it. You can be flexible. You can be aware, but also taking the time to pause and rest and ask yourself yes or no. Wait, is this mine? Do I want to do something with this?
Hmm.
You don't have to accept everything that's everybody else's.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's why I'm so attracted and passionate about like self work. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Like it's just a daily practice for me.
I love that. That's to me, it tells me that you're very aligned because you are aware that you have to do your self work to stay healthy and to feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Couple of other, I have 3 other interesting, really interesting things, I think, especially easy for me to say, especially if we're talking about keeping that energetic vibe high, is your uh, best environment is what we call shores. And that means being near water where one meets the other, whether that's actually going to the water. You were at the lake this weekend, or you create it. You can create it at home. You can put bowls of water around you, like you can create a shore. But that
Mhm.
in general will keep your vibe high. It will keep your energy high. It'll tap into your creativity. So whether you can go to a pond or a lake or an ocean or whatever, that's amazing. But you can also do that on your own, somewhere where the earth meets the water and there is a shore.
So Heather, quick question. Do you feel
Yeah.
that I can get the same support in terms of like my own internal vibration with like sounds of the ocean? So like playing kind of like that background, or does it more of a visual or like an energetic?
It's a little bit more of a visual energetic, but it won't hurt.
Mm,
So you could, and again, just creating it with a little body of water, a little bowl of water, or those old school. Do you remember? You're younger than me, but like the Zen garden things that people
yes.
used to, right? So that kind of thing where you could create just your own little shore nearby you will
My little
will shift
fountain.
you energetically.
So cool. Okay, I love that.
Yeah, or a little waterfall on your desk, just
Yeah.
creating that, and sound won't hurt. If sound was your strongest sense, like as the five senses, I would say definitely, definitely. Yours is what we call outer vision. And I pulled this because it's really interesting to stay aligned and to keep your energetic vibe high. Your environment must be visually stimulating to you. You know this about yourself, right?
So true.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. So things need to look good in the way that you want them to look good, including the way your food looks on its plate, what you can see when you're sitting at your desk. Vision boards are great. Just anything that
Yeah.
physically feels visually good to you, more and more and more of it. So making sure that you really focus on that in your environment.
Yes. Okay. So I feel like I want to add like some decluttering to my to-do list.
It could help. Yeah.
It could help. I know.
Yeah.
It's like I just really, really quickly, like before I have like a live workshop or like a big thing for my health coaching business or for yoga, but mostly it's health coaching where I'm doing it from home. I'm always like 15 or half an hour before cleaning up my space. And it kills me because I'm like, I should be sitting down, getting ready, getting prepared. I'm always like getting prepared for those last 5 minutes because I was like cleaning up the space for a half an hour because I need to
Yes.
feel like grounded in my
Yep.
environment before showing up like that live. But I'm,
Yep.
I'm always like, what are you doing? Like, get mentally ready, but I need to like
Yep.
declutter and then do
And
it.
now you know not to give yourself a hard time about that because it's
Yeah,
your
because it's really helping
your
me.
body is telling you this is what's going to calm you and make you feel aligned so that you can go
Yeah,
into this session and be
yeah,
prepared. The rest of it, you already know the rest of it. You're ready,
right.
right? And that's one of the things that I love so much about human design is it gives us language to be so much more tender with ourselves. Like again, you get into your not self. Society is telling you, but you're supposed to sit and mentally prepare. Well, you're not. You're supposed to enjoy the visual surroundings so that you can then focus on your client. And everybody's
Yeah,
very unique and different with that. So I love that. And it tracks also as we move into our 40s and beyond, we have figured a lot of these things out about ourselves and we do them whether begrudgingly or not, right? You just said, like, I'm always so hard on myself. Why am I doing that? You're doing it because you're doing it and you're not going to stop doing it. Even
hmm,
though society and brain and mind and all of that is saying, that's not how you should be doing it, but you're doing it anyway
yeah,
because we just get more and more aligned as we get older. Where I find the gift for folks over 40 is going, okay, I can actually just fucking relax about it. Like,
mhm,
this is exactly how I'm supposed to be stepping up for myself,
yeah.
which is really nice. And then the last thing is your profile lines. So, where we pull those very quickly, I know this chart can be so confusing. Everything you see on the right side, the black squares,
Okay.
those are planets at the time of your birth and gates that were active in the planets at the time of your birth. On the other side, the red ones, that's your design. And that said that the soul enters the body 88 days before we're born. And that's when our things are patterned onto us, which is very cool. So one is conscious, things you know about yourself, things that people know you know about you, and the other is subconscious. It takes a lot longer sometimes for these things to surface. But if you look at the top box, that's the sun and
Mhm.
your conscious and your subconscious design. And those little numbers there tell us what your profile lines are. And you're a 2-4. And so um, they call the 2 the hermit. Don't let that bother you. Um, right? I
As
know.
an
And
outgoing person, I'm like, what?
you're a super outgoing person. You absolutely are. And that's where the
Yeah.
4, they call the 4 the opportunist, which also sounds awful, but that's not what it means. So what
Hmm.
the hermit means is you need to prioritize some time alone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Time for yourself will grow you. It will keep your vibration high. Doesn't mean that you need to always be by yourself, but it needs to be an intentional priority. And then from the opportunity standpoint is it's all about right timing. It's all about knowing what's happening around you and when it is the opportune time to step in and offer your guidance, to support people, to ask for what you need and want. Like timing is important. So opportunist is just means seeing the right opportunity at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And so those two things combined, again, we're talking about keeping your vibe high no matter what else is going on.
Hmm.
Maybe you need to shut it down and have some alone time, or maybe in it keep doing the work that you're doing, that self work, that journal. How are you doing your self work? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So meditation for sure. Hypnosis. Doing a lot of those subliminal audios now.
Me too.
Mindfulness,
Yeah.
cooking. Like I try and weave mindfulness into like walking, especially cooking. Trying to think what else. Like even just like music. Like I like time to just like listen to music.
Yeah.
Um,
Love that.
Meditation is huge for me.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So,
And just like learning, like constantly learning, like feeling like I'm like filling my brain and growing and changing.
yeah. So that shows up for me in the little heart in the center. That's our G center. And you're undefined there, as am I. So who we are is who we are right now, meaning we are always learning and shifting. And what is happening around us, we go, that's the thing I'm going to focus on now. Versus people
Yeah.
who are defined there, it's a straight path. They always know exactly what their purpose is and what their focus is, and they very rarely veer off of that. You and I are a little bit more flexible based on what's happening around us. And
Mhm.
again, one is not good or bad. They just are. I had somebody, so with
Yeah.
that open head center, when we're open, it's thoughts, ideas, um, inspiration, but also doubts, all of that. And we hear it, we get it from everywhere. It's great because we can be inspired by anything, but we can also get doubt from anything. Like it comes at us hard and fast.
Yeah.
And I had a client say, "Well, how do I change that?" And I said, "You don't.
Yeah.
You
You just
use it."
accept that. You gotta accept it and wrap your arms around it.
Yeah, you just use it. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Do you have any questions for me about any of this stuff? Again, this is just a surface scratch, but hopefully it's
Yeah.
given you some ideas on ways to keep your vibe high.
Oh, totally. I'm like, I need to schedule in some decluttering. I know that's gonna help me. And I love that like you shared that because I've always known like after I declutter I feel better, but in where I'm at right now, it's like that came to me at the right time. And I just
Mm,
feel so much stronger about that knowing, right? That it's
I'm
not like,
so
because
glad.
sometimes it feels like, all right, it's going to take a lot of time. I have like a million other things to do that are more important. But I think if I do that first, it becomes kind of like a capacity creator, and
Yes.
that everything else is going to be more efficient and more, I'll be more productive. I also love the yes or no stuff. I think that's really helpful for me to share with like my partner and my mom, people that are close to me in life.
Yeah.
Um, I wonder, like, in looking at my chart, like, because meditation is something I love. Like, how does that support me? And, like, I have to wonder, like, should I be doing it at a certain time? Like, I'm not structured with that. That is the one thing that, like, I want to be more structured with it. And I know you just said like I thrive on structure. So maybe I just need to like put it in there, um, and like be more structured with it. I don't know. I'm just curious, like in looking at my chart, like does that align and support? I mean, I know it does, but just yeah,
Would
just
you
the one
like
thing.
to have that be a more consistent habit?
Yeah, like I wanna, yeah, I really wanna schedule it in. Like I kind of want it to be in my morning routine, but it's like I resist it so bad.
How much time do you like to spend on meditation?
Usually 20 minutes feels right because then I get to like I got a million things to do. I get in my head.
Okay. Okay.
Like after the fact, not during.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what right now, what I heard you say is I really want to do it in the morning, but I get distracted. I don't prioritize it. What are you doing instead?
So yeah, I feel like I need to like work. So like, like I'll wake up,
Mm,
I'll have my coffee, get the kids ready for school, and like I feel like I need to like get my brain organized in work so that I like know what I'm doing, which I do a little bit of that the night before. I mean, I'm always looking at my calendar, but like I feel like all right, I want to like get some things done so that I feel good and I feel accomplished, and then I can do the house chores or meditate. But often it's like I'm squeezing in the meditation and I'm not like dropping in
yeah. So you
deeply.
think it sounds like you're like, "Oh, if I could just get organized, then I will feel better to go into meditation," but it's not
Yeah,
working that way.
right.
So, would you be dropping the ball on work stuff if you did the 20-minute meditation before you got organized at work?
No, but I feel like it will be harder to get out of my head if I like have the workload that feels like an unknown.
Mm,
But maybe I just need to maybe I mean it's been so long since I've done it before like logging in and just kind of getting some things done. Maybe I just need to try it.
yeah, I was gonna
Because I
say,
yeah,
how do you how do you know?
I know. I know. I just need to try it. I don't know why I resist it so much. Like I like to get my movement in first and then meditate because I feel like I'm already in such a good place. And so that's all like
Mm,
shifted for me over these past 2 weeks with this injury. So maybe it is an opportunity to just switch it around and try.
yeah, and try it, because if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, you could switch it around again.
Yeah. But okay, so you know what I'm also realizing? It's also not just the work. It's feeling like I'm professionally organized, but it's also like I feel like I need to like make the bed, do the dishes, do all those things before meditation. And I feel like that is also it's the work and it's that stuff that's holding me back from being able to like schedule it in the morning and drop in the morning and feel like there's an ease to it. And now I'm realizing probably because of my human design
Yep.
I
Split
need
those
that
things up.
declutter first. So maybe
Yep.
I don't know. Does it make more sense if you look at my chart? I'm just curious your thoughts. Like, does it make more sense to do it like midday because of that? Because like I feel more organized in business and mind and body and home.
It could, if you're not gonna sabotage yourself and not do it. What I'm
Right.
wondering is what might be possible if you did your home tidying and then your meditation, and
Yeah.
then it was work time until it
Yeah.
was family time again.
Right.
Um, we do feel this outside urge to be working all the time when we're entrepreneurs, when we're at home, when our phones or our laptops or whatever are right here, we're like, "But I should be working." But
Yep.
if it's not your best self showing up to do the work, is it getting you the results that you want?
I know. Right. I have this thought that maybe it's just I need a meditation spot that stays decluttered and I just remove myself
Oh my
because I
gosh.
like to meditate
Yes.
weirdly on my floor, like with my back against my bed.
Okay.
So maybe I just need a different spot that's like already,
That you can clean up, that you can have.
yeah,
I
that's
love
like
that idea for
pretty
you,
clean.
because whatever surrounding you just feels really great. You can light your
Yeah.
candles, pull out your crystals, whatever it is that you
Yes.
want, have the sounds that you want around you, creating this sort of sanctuary. If
Yeah.
you can have some water around you,
Right.
it would be really impactful.
Yeah. I can already feel how that would help me drop in sooner.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
It's cool, Heather, because I feel like I don't beat myself up, but I'm like, I do should a little bit on myself with my meditation. And now I'm realizing kind of the reasons why it's not happening when I want it to happen. And I think it's that decluttering and that needing to feel
Mm.
structured and organized, you know?
Yes, absolutely. It makes
Yeah.
sense because
Yeah.
things are not aligned for you to be able to relax.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you can create that. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to play with maybe doing some sort of subconscious reprogramming tool, but since you are, and I can, if it's something you'd like, we've got all
Okay.
these resources, but I'm wondering, since you want to try a few things out and see what works, if that's maybe not the next best step. And if you find something that you like, then you and I can come back together separately and do it.
Yeah.
Or if you would like to do something now, we can. Your choice.
Yeah. Well, I would love to, but I do need to go get my
Yes.
daughter at school.
Yeah. No,
But
that's totally fine.
yeah. So maybe we come back together another time, part two.
I would love to, but I think that
Yeah.
that is best. I really feel that you need to try it and see that it
Mhm.
works, and then we can just solidify it. We can,
Right.
subconsciously reprogram you in a way that it just becomes easier and easier to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking new
Awesome.
space, new spot, already decluttered, and just try it, feel it so that I believe it, and see what happens.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming in and putting yourself on the hot seat and allowing me to share this with you.
I love it. Thank you so much. You shared so much with me, and I loved every second.
You're
You're
welcome. Well,
amazing. Thank you,
take care.
Heather.
Feel better. I'll see you in class tomorrow night.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
All
Bye,
right.
Ryan.
Bye,
Thank
Heather.
you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.